Hello and welcome, Gold viewers from around the world. I'm Kristen Schwartz, licensed midwife and MC here at Gold. And here at Gold, we are in the middle of the preparations for our Gold Lactation online conference of 2020. The conference will start next week, March 30th here. And what we like to do here at Gold is get together with our speakers. So we're getting to know them so you can get to know them too here. And we'll talk about their work a little bit and about the presentation. And with me here today is Dr. Jessie Young. Welcome, Dr. Young.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, it's wonderful to have you here today. And I have to tell you, as a midwife, I am so super excited that you're here. You are a chiropractor, and I have to tell you, I love chiropractors.
Oh, good.
It is one of those things that I always tell my clients during pregnancy: go see a chiropractor, not just to get an adjustment to help them with any discomforts during pregnancy, but also for birth. It's if and correct me please if I'm wrong there, but I'm always thinking of the uterus being almost like a trampoline attached to these kind of little springs, ligaments. And if the pelvis is off kilter, then of course the uterus must be off kilter too. And then the baby has a much harder time during birth to descend, nice and coming down, nice and straight, so to speak, right?
Sure. That muscle tension we feel when our joints aren't moving properly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So but you are a pediatric chiropractor. And that is really fantastic. I just absolutely love it, because I've seen the miracles you can do in the field, when the little one is born, and sometimes they're just coming out a little asynclitic like this, and the first thing we do is like, okay, call a chiropractor, and we're blessed to have a chiropractor that comes out, right after birth.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
yes, and adjust this little baby. So tell us a little bit, tell us about your practice
Mhm.
and your work, and let us know a little bit more about yourself and your background.
Sure. I've been in practice for about 10 years now. We just recently, about 2 years ago, moved. So a big change and a clinic change and things like that. So I'm just getting started here in Washington again. And
Mhm.
in the meantime, I've finished up with my training and hours to become a IBCLC. So I was
Oh,
scheduled,
wonderful.
yeah, I was scheduled to take that. So we'll reschedule that in the next little bit now, but that'll be coming up soon and finally get that checked off my list. That's been something that I've wanted to finish up for a long time now. So most of what my practice is, 99% is breastfeeding issues.
Mm, mm, interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I do a little bit of work pregnancy and a
Mhm.
little postpartum for mom um,
Mm.
rehab and the likes of that, but mostly we're working with mom and baby on breastfeeding.
Beautiful,
Mhm.
absolutely beautiful. Yeah, and I wish you all the best for your IBCLC exam.
Yeah,
I mean, what a wonderful combination that is. The being an IBCLC and the chiropractor, and working directly there with mom and baby. It's just beautiful.
yeah. I starting out in practice, most of the referrals I were getting were for breastfeeding issues, and my
Yeah.
own breastfeeding experience is how I found gold. Was and just knowing what I had gone through two different pediatric training programs, my chiropractic program, my nutrition programs, and still did not know a lot about breastfeeding. So
Mm.
um, I changed that and and really dived into the world of breastfeeding because of my own experience and that then
Yeah,
um,
yeah. Wonderful. Yeah, and obviously, I mean, uh, this is something, and I wish more people, and this is what you're doing here. That's what we're here for, to educate, our parents, our families we work with. What a great role a chiropractor can play in this, diet. And I believe many, parents might not even be aware of that when their little one is born, especially if it was a traumatic birth, or forceps birth, or even a C-section or something, a long labor,
yeah.
and a little it's not like something that comes naturally to mind. Oh, I should see the chiropractor. And I have to tell you, in the beginning, during my midwifery training, when I was working with a very nice preceptor, and she was this old wise midwife, and when she was saying, like, call the chiropractor, and I'm thinking, I was like, can they manipulate a baby? Are they cracking the spine? I was like, almost, I was worried in the beginning, I have to tell you. And then when I saw what the chiropractor did to the baby, it was so gentle. It was so, oh, it was just beautiful to see that, and the little one just melting, crying. It was fussy. And then you could see the baby just like, and the parents like looking at the baby going, oh my gosh, this is wonderful. So, yeah, so you probably have to do also a lot of education there for your
Yes,
families, right?
yes, that's the number one question. When we talk in general about chiropractic, definitely about pediatric chiropractic care is safety. I
Hmm.
go over that in detail in my presentation, but anybody recommending chiropractic care or um, parents interested in chiropractic care, really, they're going to want to know more about the safety of it.
Right.
And there's so many misconceptions about chiropractic care in general,
Hmm.
and even a lot more with pediatric care
Yeah.
and how do you crack a baby's neck? That's the one of the one of the biggest
Right.
questions I get when we say we don't.
Right.
um, so there, hopefully that, and the reason why I submitted to be part of this was that there are a lot of misconceptions that I love to
Right.
help clear, and these are the chiropractic care is a fantastic conservative management for a lot of issues that we
Hmm.
encounter with breastfeeding, suboptimal breastfeeding, that isn't on the top of the list when people consider um, how to manage it.
Right. Right. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your presentation, identifying musculoskeletal issues that impact breastfeeding. So give us a little overview of what you're going to be talking about there.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go through some of the I guess tips that I've come across over the last 10 years of practice on evaluation, and
Hmm.
what I think that people um, would find useful in their lactation practices, as well as how to identify musculoskeletal issues, um, and like I said before, too, information to pass along to the parents that, when
Hmm.
you say, oh, I think you might benefit from um, a visit with a chiropractor, and their alarms go off, and ways
Hmm.
to settle them as well. I'm going to present some of the um, literature and support for breastfeeding and safety and effectiveness of manual therapy in general.
Beautiful. Yeah, that is so helpful because, as you mentioned, there might be a lot of questions from parents, and nobody is expecting IVCLC or lactation professional then becoming a chiropractor or know everything. But at
No.
least if we have that information, if we know what to look for, we can provide the resources to the parents, and feel more confident too to recommending, to go and have a visit, and maybe also looking out for a few things on the baby, what they can maybe see, in the structure there, in the facial, in the
Mhm.
musculoskeletal area there, what they feel like, okay, so it would be a good idea to see a chiropractor, right?
Yeah, yeah. And Dr. Valerie Levine published a paper 2008, I believe, or 2018, I'm sorry, I believe, about it was a survey of lactation consultants, and
Hmm.
about 75% of them were confident in recognizing musculoskeletal issues, but it was around 30% referred for manual therapy. So my
Mm,
hope in this presentation is to, we're comfortable and confident in identifying it, but why is there that gap between
right.
identifying the issue and getting it to the appropriate provider? So
Interesting, interesting. Yeah, that is very interesting information there. So hope we can bridge that gap here a little bit
mhm,
too with that presentation too.
yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. I mean, we are just in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, and
Mhm.
you and I chatted just briefly before going on camera about telehealth. So tell us how that has impacted your practice here.
Yeah, so I am only taking in-office appointments on urgent or emergency cases.
Hmm.
Haven't had any of those this week. So everything else is telehealth, breastfeeding support. And we have wonderful lactation consultants in our community that are doing that as well. And
Hmm.
our families are very well supported telehealth wise. But I can do breastfeeding support with telemedicine, and as well as nutrition or exercise appointments as well.
That's wonderful. Do you find it challenging? Was it, when you started doing this, I don't know if you've done this in the past, that you said, "Oh, this is different. I can't touch anything," or "I can't," you know. And so you probably have to
Yeah.
change a little bit of your approach, how you, communicate
Yeah,
there.
I feel like I'm getting a lot better in instructing parents too.
Ah.
I do give a lot of home exercise as well, and when you're in the office and
Hmm.
talking with them about their home, their home instructions, you're not ever really sure if they've got it or they're doing it properly. And this has been a kind of an eye opener on me getting better at my instruction to my patients.
Yeah, yeah, and I know it is a different way of communicating
Hmm.
and teaching too. But on the other side, you probably can see now, because you see, the parents at their home and the family,
Hmm.
also how they are doing. While maybe they can demonstrate back to you. So there is some, obviously in person is always best, but there might be also some positive aspects of that too, right?
Yeah, yeah, and we're here in a rural area, and
Mm,
so that's really been able to open up accessibility for patients too.
yeah,
And having to drive, or get out for the fourth appointment this week with the new one,
right.
it's been really it's been good. I was hesitant at first for those same
Mhm.
reasons. I can't see the baby, or I can't touch the baby, or um, see them in person. But I think it's been great for that reason, to increase that accessibility for patients.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, and moving forward in the future, it also allows that to be maybe opened up for people maybe with you know financial barriers, or
Right. Yeah.
distance barriers, a lot of things that could benefit.
Absolutely. I was just thinking about that too, because you mentioned for rural communities, for them it is difficult, maybe getting up in the car, or,
Mhm.
maybe the family only has one car, and,
Right.
whoever is outside the home working needs that car. And so for mom, or mom has other children, or the family has other children, for them it would be hard to getting
Right.
everybody in, and driving somewhere for an appointment, and maybe financial issues as well. So that is actually a wonderful opportunity to increase, accessibility for this
Yeah.
service as well. That's wonderful.
Yeah. The downside, I can't do manual therapy, but
That's true. That's
which is
true.
a yeah. But
Yeah.
I think the general breastfeeding support, like I said,
Mhm.
exercise instruction, nutrition,
Right.
that can all be done very
Yeah.
well.
So, but hopefully, after everything hopefully goes back to normal,
Mhm.
you can of course do that again, and maybe have that as an
Yeah.
additional service too. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. So, my last question here for you, if you a little word of wisdom from you to our listeners, if you give us a little nugget of what you're hoping the listeners will take away from this presentation.
Yeah. Well, my hope is that um, what I present to you is maybe a different perspective than what you've seen or heard before on conservative management for some of the cases that we see a lot. Um, and that you might be able to grow your network and better
Mhm.
support families with, you know, collaborating with other providers, and having that, broadening your team approach when dealing with breastfeeding issues.
Wonderful. That sounds absolutely delightful. Having a good, a network of providers, that is so beneficial. Definitely. Oh, I'm looking so much forward to your presentation,
Oh,
Dr.
good.
Young.
Good. Thank you.
And thank you so much for spending time here with me, and talking about the presentation and your work. And thank you so much. It has been a pleasure being here with
Thank
you.
you.
And now for our listeners, the presentation here by Dr. Young, identifying musculoskeletal issues that impact breastfeeding, will be live on April 15th. And if you would like to find out more about this presentation and about the other presentations in the online conference here at Gold, you can go to goldlearning.com. and I can highly recommend that. It's a fantastic conference. We have over 30 hours of accredited information there for you. We have over 30 different speakers. It's a global community. We have over 3,200 participants from all around the globe. Over 80 countries will be represented. We have nurses, doctors, lactation consultants, chiropractors. We have a broad community here, and this year we also will have panels and workshops and ask the experts as well. So to make it fully interactive for you. So I hope to see you all at the conference. So go check it out at goldlearning.com. Thank you again, Dr. Young, for being
Thank
here with me
you.
today. And thank you to our audience here. Bye-bye, everyone.